The following presentation of the Eric McKenna Project is sponsored by no one.
Hello, you're listening to the Eric McKenna Project.
Testing. Volume looks good over here. Can you give me some? Can you test for me?
Test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
You're good. Look at you.
Yeah.
You're a pro.
Yeah, I watched when I was working for Clear Channel, I would go to concerts and I would be there for sound check and stuff.
Yeah, right on.
So I would hear them do sound check. It was really cool.
You know what you're
yeah, like
doing.
Boston. Boston took hours.
Really?
Yeah, Brad is
Brad Delp, the singer?
yeah.
He passed away, didn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, he was a hell of a voice, though.
It was amazing. I got to meet him. I was
Now,
like,
when you
Sir.
met him, was his voice still really high? Could he really do the high stuff?
Oh yeah, he was great. This was probably circa 2003/2004.
He still kind of had it then. If
Oh
I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah, and I was like, "Sir, thank you so much." This is me, seriously. So stupid. "Sir, thank you so much for making music." He goes, "Get out of here, little kid." I was like, "Oh man, did I say something wrong?"
Crushed your dreams.
Well, he was like, "What are you, 12?" And I kind of was at the time, but like I like classic rock.
Yeah, right on.
Or
you're in the right
some
spot.
I can see that. But yeah, like I have all kinds of eclectic. I was at the symphony on
Oh, right on.
yeah,
Nothing wrong with
Monday
that.
or whatever.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I cannot believe you've not done a podcast. You just seem the personality type just
You
saying
sound,
like
you sound like
someone-
I know you sound like my family, and I've been trying to figure that out. If that's for me, if it's not for me, how can I make that happen? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you have
Yeah,
to be.
like-
I think the best way to find out if it's for you is to do enough guest spots on podcasts, and then you'll. Because for me, I was on 4 or 5, and had the radio thing too. So, but then I was doing 4 or 5 of these podcasts, and I
Yeah.
said, "Wow, this is so much better." There's no commercials. There's no. I mean, we're just going here,
Right.
you know. And that's not what you get on radio. Every
Right.
5 minutes, it's like you gotta do a read or some bullshit. So.
Right.
Yeah,
to
we swear
pay
around too, so.
to pay the bills.
To pay the bills, and that's
Right.
okay. And I'm a
Yeah.
capitalist. I get it, but I don't. This is a non-commercial show. I have the luxury of just doing this as a hobby. So, knock on wood, people just dig it.
Right.
And we're not promoting anything here. That's why I think we can get to the truth here, and people have no problem just being honest.
Right. Because you're not attached to something that someone would
not
have
selling
an
Joe's,
issue with.
Joe's Pizza
Right.
or Bill's Garage
Right.
or some this tomato sauce brand over here. No,
Why
no
not?
bullshit. I mean, it's okay.
Aren't you Irish? I'm just kidding. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
no, well.
Are you Irish?
I am Irish.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Irish and Italian, that's a scary combination.
It's so loud.
What? No,
Just-
in terms of the people?
Oh yeah.
They tend to drink a little bit, too. See, I don't do that anymore. Look at, she's busting the place up already. Just pop that back on.
This way?
Yeah, here, look. See, just... There you go, friends.
You should do this, Aim. Like crash.
That's okay. I mean, I've had a couple other people smash the joint up, too. That's totally
Oh,
fine.
wow. Okay.
I want to know quite a few things here.
Yeah.
So...
Fire away, sir.
All right. So, yeah.
Do you have notes?
Of course I do.
Oh, okay. You were like, we're gonna riff. I'm like, okay.
We're going to riff for
Yeah.
sure. But, of course, I want to make sure that I do due diligence and I make sure I have,
Bless.
Come on now. I wouldn't
Bless.
invite somebody in and, that I think it's very disingenuous when I hear podcasters go, "Oh, I don't do any background information. I just want to, like learn it as I go." That's great. But I mean, if you inviting someone in to learn about them, you want to at least get what you can up front.
Right.
That's only courtesy to me.
Sure.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it like it's my job.
Right, but
right.
have some direction.
Yeah.
I get it.
I can just grab someone off the street. Hey, what do you do? I mean, maybe there's some value to that. Not what I want to do, but I guess I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, Aim. I don't know.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so soccer.
Soccer.
You're telling me off camera that you did not really play. You weren't like this. I assumed that you were like this incredible soccer protege as a young person.
No.
And you like moved in this direction your whole life.
No. I played all kinds of sports. So I was like YMCA, floor hockey. That was probably
Did
like.
you play curling?
No. Oh my gosh, what an interesting question. Curling. I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. Okay. Most
Yeah,
people aren't.
Bonspiels.
Look at that.
I know. So so I played almost every sport, maybe not golf or tennis, but like the main ones, I guess.
Okay.
Basketball, softball. I would say I was probably the best at, like if you would ask my mom what I was the best at, she would probably say basketball, believe it or not.
Okay.
And so when I was a kid, I saw this movie about Pistol Pete Maravich.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
From
about?
Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah. And it struck a chord in me so deep that I wanted to become him. But he had like a really tragic story. And he didn't even want to be a basketball player.
Right.
But he managed to be the best. Okay. And I just thought that was like really profound from a young age, right?
Sure.
So I became obsessed, and I wanted to, I wanted to play in the NBA. I wanted to be like the first female in the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I never grew. Like, did you see how tall? All right.
You never grew?
No. It must have been all the cigarettes I was smoking in like 6th and 7th grade.
Say those stunned your growth.
I
man.
know. So it's real.
I thought that was just a saying.
No. So,
Proof.
I know.
Proof.
So yeah, like I remained about 5'2", and I would have coaches. I remember coaches from high schools, from different high schools, because I was in Catholic school.
Okay.
They would like come and see us play,
Oh, right on.
because they would want to see like who's in these Catholic schools and all this. So they would come and they would watch me play, but they would be like, "She's so small."
Okay.
So from a young age, I remember that experience, and a coach kind of dictating my career from that point, right?
Really?
Well,
At that
listen.
young age?
Well, yeah. So like you have these coaches coming in, and I'm telling you, like I was really good at basketball. Like I was playing in the AAU leagues and stuff like that. I would play up when I was like younger, with like the 8th graders and 7th graders and stuff like that. So I really thought I had what it took to play like at the next level, which would be high school.
Okay.
For like a really good high school. So Chartiers Valley, right?
Right.
But there was just an issue with my height overall. So I thought, well, I'm never going to get into play. So do I move forward with this and just sit on the bench? Or do I pursue something else that maybe I can do, right?
Okay.
So I was playing soccer. Not very good, right?
So
Again,
you had to learn the game from scratch because you really didn't know it, right?
I didn't really know it,
Okay.
but I had a good
Okay.
coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because I had access to a good coach that would just let me play, because you had to field girls whenever you're playing co-ed, that he gave me the opportunity and would encourage me in a positive way. Didn't matter what size I was or anything like that. He just let me play.
Okay.
So I would play for him, and I was very athletic, right? So I just had a really good foundation. I didn't know it. So when I got to high school, I said, I'm just going to play soccer. I'm going to try out and see if I make it. And I'm trying out. And like I said, this coach is like, who are you? Like, where did you come from? And I was like, nowhere. I was like, I came from Catholic school. I played co-ed and all boys. And I was making excuses for myself. I didn't understand. So he goes, no, he's like, you're going to make varsity. So here's your jersey. And I made varsity my freshman year, which, I mean, it led me to kind of like where I'm at now.
Sure.
It actually comes full circle.
Sure.
But I would say like I was better at basketball than I was at soccer, skill-wise.
What did you like better?
Basketball. Easily. I still like basketball. I don't watch it. Like I said, I don't really watch sports, but if I have the opportunity to go and watch, I love it.
Right.
So TV, not so much. Live action,
Definitely,
for sure.
yeah. Oh, sure.
For sure.
Sure. Well, soccer is much better live. to me as just a sports enthusiast than it is to not watch on television.
Have you been to a Riverhounds game?
Yes, 2, a couple years ago.
Okay. Under the current coach?
That I would not know.
Okay. That's not good.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. When I say Riverhounds, people have no idea what I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, boy. It's
Really?
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's we'll get into that, but soccer in Pittsburgh is it's a process, right?
Yeah, but it's not new. That's what's
No,
astonishing about it all.
It's not.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh was a big like basketball hub, right?
But there's the prevailing thought that we can't support a pro team.
What is that?
I don't know. Smarter minds than me probably know the numbers, but I don't know why the NBA won't come here.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Maybe it's the venue. I don't know. It's the PPG venue, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like we have a lot of real estate happening now in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that may be an excuse that
Could be.
Yeah, but like
Huge money.
huge money.
Huge money.
I would always have to go to like Cleveland
To see,
to see a game, which
Yeah.
like is not bad, but
No. We saw Michael. I used to go there just to see Michael Jordan. I wasn't a huge NBA fan, but I wanted to see Jordan a couple times, and that was the place I could go see him. It was
Right.
the closest place. I'm glad I did that.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
super
glad I
cool.
did that. Yeah. I look back at that was a smart decision on a couple of times. But now at La Roche College, did you play?
Yes, I played my freshman year.
Okay,
And did you play any sports
baseball.
in college?
Let's just say there was a program. I showed up my freshman year, and they walked out and said, "We've discontinued the program."
God.
So my freshman year of college,
They folded.
They
The team
folded. They folded. They knew it wasn't going to get any better with me on the team. just
Did they
folded
say
it.
you were too short too?
No.
Oh, man.
I was a catcher. I guess I was okay. I was okay, but it was a bummer. It definitely was a bummer,
Oh, I
and
bet.
it turned me off toward college in general. So that's a whole nother story.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I just said, like, fuck, I can't play baseball. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, why go?
Yeah, right.
Interesting.
Yeah, why go? What other possible use could I have for going up here besides I can't play baseball?
Right. Maybe to learn.
So
Yeah.
La Roche.
So La Roche, I played my freshman year, and when you transition away from like high school sports into collegiate sports, it doesn't matter what division.
Right.
It's like holding a job.
No question.
So so at that moment when you're playing, right, it's fun. You have a wonderful team, and there's all this stuff happening, but you have to look at yourself as an athlete, and you have to have kind of like a come to God talk. Am I going to be a professional athlete, and is this serving me? Right? It's fun, but
Good
like, is
question.
this serving me all this time?
Well, think about how many college kids can't ask themselves that question. So you had the wherewithal to ask yourself that, right?
Right. So I think pretty deeply. I don't think normally, I would say.
Okay. What does that even mean anymore?
I know. What does that mean? I think my own way, I guess. But like, I would have these, and it's only because of the experience that I had, again, with that basketball reference.
Okay.
Right? Am I going to ever play? And the answer was no. So why be on a team where I can't perform? The whole point is to perform
And not waste time.
and not waste time. So you have this talk with yourself, and you say, is this serving my greatest good? Is this serving my time? And I just thought, no, it's not. But I knew that I was still interested in sports.
Okay.
I couldn't put it together, but I would be in the weight room constantly. Like, that's all I did.
Really?
So all I did was transition, right?
Okay.
I wasn't playing sports
Okay.
because I'm actually not very competitive, which is bizarre to say, but
Not really.
I just like, if I lost, if I won,
So the team concept wasn't really, you didn't feel an affinity for the team concept. Right.
right. So I just thought, maybe I should stop this and
Okay.
like do a pivot into
Okay.
another direction.
Okay.
So listen, I started lifting weights when I was young. So this was nothing new to me to be in that weight room. And I knew that I loved it. So I thought, I'm just going to pivot and do this.
Okay.
It's still serving me and like how I want to exist and be, but I don't have to like work a full-time job doing it. I can get into the gym and work there for like an hour, like do a pickup game of basketball with some people. And that was where I felt better.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So like I just sort of like started to find myself in the gym.
Okay.
But I didn't think, I could do this for a living.
Well, what was your curriculum at La Roche?
What did I study? Yeah, so I have a degree in communications.
Okay. What's wrong with
So-
that? What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of people, I don't know, they think, so you don't know what to do with your life. So you take communications.
Or business administration degree, right?
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
You know, but I am sort of a people person.
Sure.
I really am curious about how someone thinks or like what their perspective is and things like that. So
That's kind of why this show exists.
exactly. So I wanted to follow that.
Okay.
So I got my undergrad in communications.
Right on.
And I was working towards being on the radio. So that's what I thought. Like, this is what I'm going to do.
Okay. So you wanted to be an on-air personality.
Yeah, I mean...
Did you know what type, or you would take anything at that moment, whether it was sports related, whether it was variety related, whether it was music related, it didn't matter to you?
Well, okay, so I would like thrive under like the Kiss FM genre. So I would do Club Kiss way back. I don't know if you remember that, but it would be like...
Not the rock band Kiss. This is more
No.
like dance music, right?
Yeah, this is like...
Or hip-hop, R&B.
Yeah, this is like 2003, 2004.
So what was it called at that time? Because, there's always different...
Where were the
It's a
clubs
genre.
be?
What was the genre called?
Like all pop music,
Okay.
hip hop,
Okay.
R&B,
Right on.
things like that. So like you're in the club, you're dancing.
So club music.
Yeah,
Like techno?
not house. I would say like I know, not like
I don't know what all stuff means anymore.
Swedish house mafia. No, yeah, like what you would think. Like, do you know where Cabo is? Do you know Cabo
Yeah.
in the Strip?
Yeah.
Yeah, shouts to Big Cabo.
Yeah.
No, it would be places like that
Okay.
that we would go. We would
Okay.
set up remotes. I would be with an on-air personality,
Oh, right on.
learning and being with that human,
Right
and then doing whatever I needed to do
Okay.
during these remotes.
So did you work for them, or you
It was-
interning?
I was interning.
Interning, okay.
Yeah,
You get abused as an intern. huh?
exactly. But I didn't care. I loved it.
Yeah, most
I was
interns
like,
don't, because they're doing what they want to do.
Exactly.
And they're absorbing stuff.
Exactly.
Right? That's
So
like the thing.
I was absorbing everything.
Right on.
And I just thought, wow, I would really love to see myself in this space, but it didn't work out.
Okay.
So I pivoted to sales.
Right?
So sales comes pretty natural, I think, to me.
And if I remember correctly, you went to wireless products
I was selling a lot of cell phones.
for AT&T and T-Mobile. right?
T-Mobile, AT&T. I did really well at T-Mobile, really well. So I would win like awards and things like
Right.
that. So it's not that I was like terrible at this sales.
Sure.
I didn't find any fulfillment in that
Got it.
path.
Got it.
So I was doing all this stuff to make money. That was about it. I was making money for someone else.
Of course. Of course. That's corporate sales in general.
Right. So I just thought like I could continue in this path, or I could change it.
Okay.
So
Again, asking yourself big questions, which is hard questions that a lot of people don't do.
yeah, it's like I come to these points in my life and I'm faced with some like big decision, right?
Okay.
But I recognize what that is. A lot of people aren't like aware of that. So
You think there's a skill to that, or you think that's just some people are wired just differently?
I don't know how to answer that. I think that there's a little bit of something called intuition. I think that you have to understand yourself. And that's
Okay.
a hard thing to do because
Most people don't understand themselves.
there's no awareness, right? Or
Right.
we think we're aware, but we're not. We're just on that journey and that path to become.
Got it.
And again, like things change all the time. I keep saying the word pivot for a reason. I don't think I fell. I don't think I like took a step back. I just sort of like went to the left and then went
Sure.
forward and then went to the right and
Sure.
went forward.
Sure.
Yeah. So, it was like the age of 30, I think, is when I hit it. So I don't know if that's like a midlife crisis.
I think it's a little young for midlife crisis.
Yeah, right. One of them.
I don't know about those things. From what I hear, that's a little young for that.
Maybe it's like my first one or something. So
Could be, right? We're making the rules up as we go anyway.
yeah, we're riffing.
We're riffing today.
So
And I'm so glad you're okay. I'm so glad that you're okay with the format here. You're just, this is fantastic. You're just doing it.
just like
and if
saying stuff.
Just in general, just being relaxed with what we're doing and just having a conversation. Because once in a while, I'll get a guest in that really struggles early in the conversation, not understanding that it's supposed to be a conversation, and it's not like there's a defect in their personality. It's just that some folks just don't take to it like either take to it or you kind of don't.
Right.
But yeah, you don't have any issues.
Thank you.
Riffing. So
Thank you
again,
so much.
It makes
yeah.
it easier on my end too.
It's just my background.
Yeah, right
my
on.
communications
Right on.
background. So
See, it's doing something for you. Right?
I know I can use this degree. It's unbelievable. So like, don't discredit things.
Yeah, right.
I don't even know what the question was.
No.
remember.
So you were interning down there.
At the radio station.
Yeah, at
and
Cavo.
I thought that
House
that's like,
music.
I thought that's like where I needed to be. Ended up in sales. Here we
Yeah.
go. And then 30 hits me, and like, I don't know, some things were sort of like coming and going out of my life. I think,
Right.
being in your 20s and being in your 30s is wildly different, and then being in your 30s and being in your 40s is also wildly different. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it.
Wait till you get to the 50s.
I can't wait. I hope my hair turns white.
Wait, what? So when you turn 50, this is gonna be on for posterity, right? It'll be into the
Yes.
ether here.
Great.
You're gonna go back and watch this, and when your hair does turn white, you're gonna go, "Why the fuck did I say that?"
No way. No way. I think I would look so rad, first of all. People don't know how
Gray's
old I
in,
am.
right? Isn't gray in or something?
I don't know what's in or out. But, like, that's the thing is people can't tell what my age is now. Imagine if I had, like, white hair and then I turned around and then, right? And then people would be like, oh, my God. Excuse me. And I'd be like, hell yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So don't discredit the white hair.
Hey, right on. Yeah, I have no hair, so anyone that's got hair, I give credit to.
I have
So,
tons of it.
There you go.
So 30 hits me.
She's like, just
I know, just tons of it.
okay.
I would share.
Okay, I don't think it would have worked unless I had glue.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah, wigs are amazing these days. So they're amazing these days. So
That's not happening.
just think about it and get back to me.
Okay, I'll get back to you.
So 30 hits me, and I come to a point in my life and I think, do I go this way or that way? So I like stopped doing what I was doing in sales, and I pivoted into like health and wellness.
Okay.
So here's the thing, right? I didn't know where I wanted to be, and you know how GNC is big here. I thought maybe that's the route that I should take because of my sales background.
So you're like retail sales for GNC.
Or anything. I didn't know. So I
Okay.
tried to get in there for years and it wasn't happening.
Okay.
So I ended up at a like a gym, like a commercial gym, and I was an operations
LA Fitness.
manager. Yes, I was an operations manager at LA Fitness, and it gave me insight into that world. Okay.
Okay.
Corporate gyms are different than like strength and conditioning.
Right.
I'm not saying one is better than the other.
Understood.
I just saw it.
One's like herding cattle, and the other one. I'm sorry.
Good. No, they serve its purpose.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it because I belong to one.
I understand.
So, listen, they're great. I just thought this is not where I want to be.
Okay.
I want to be a strength and conditioning coach.
Right on.
And it made me realize that.
Okay.
So, yeah, like I sort of quit.
I don't know if there's do you sort of quit or you just quit?
God,
like,
you just quit.
You just quit.
So I quit. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Okay.
And I had some savings where I thought
Sure.
I can just get something part-time to figure this out. But I really think that I should do this.
All right.
And I kept it to myself because I think if I would have voiced that out loud, people would think that I was insane or having a nervous breakdown or something was wrong with me. Why would you quit something that you're good at to then
Sure.
pursue something that we don't even understand,
Sure.
where that's coming from?
Sure.
So I was playing in this league and it was connected through the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. I had no idea. It was just a friend of mine that I worked with when I was selling cell phones. She kept asking me, please play in this league. Please play in this league. So I caved in and I was like, I'm not doing shit now. So I'll play in your league. So I'm playing in this league. And sometimes girls wouldn't show up for the other teams.
Okay.
So the other teams would say, hey, can you stay and play? I would stay and play. So I would play game after game after game after game. So you would get to know all these girls from all these other teams. And there was something wrong with the schedule. Okay, I don't know what it was, but I said, let me just email this guy that is the contact on here and just see if I can't do the schedule. I literally do nothing but play soccer and lift weights all day. I have the best life ever. I think I can put together a communal schedule for us to play soccer.
Okay.
This is it. This is literally it. So we used to get tickets because it was through the Riverhounds. We used to get tickets to their game, right? So we're at Highmark Stadium, just built, awesome.
Right.
And game ends, we go out after. We go into Station Square. So my friend goes, oh, that's Jason Cutney. He's the contact that you emailed right over there. And I said, guys, I'll be right back. So I leave them and rolled right up to him and I said, excuse me, are you Jason Cutney? And he said, yes, I am. And I said, I am Amy Wisniowski. You don't know me, but I emailed you just a few days ago about the women's schedule. And I am literally just playing in this league and lifting weights. So if you need help organizing the girls, I know a bunch of girls on the different teams. So if you want me to take this from you, I'm so happy to do so.
Okay.
So he kind of looks at me and he was like, okay, well, what's your background? I don't know why he asked me what my background was. So I said, it's in sales, but I don't do that shit anymore. I said, I quit. I said, it sounds ridiculous, but I really want to be a strength and conditioning coach. So he's like, I think I have something for you. Come into the offices. So, yeah.
Okay.
So I get invited to the offices. We start talking. He's talking about the trajectory of the team, where they want to go.
Okay.
And I'm talking about what I want to do, right?
Okay.
And he's like, Aim, I think I have something for you. He goes, I can get you in here as the director of communications because that's what your piece of paper says. So he sort of had involvement pro team wise, academy wise, and he was sort of doing all this stuff.
Okay.
So he brought me in to help him and then everybody else that was working underneath him.
Right.
So I get in as the director of communications for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Because I asked. There was no...
In a parking lot. randomly
at a bar. Yeah, at a bar. Yeah, so I sort of like networked my way into the organization. And I remember Jason saying, you got to meet Mike Whiteman. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll meet him. And then another director was like, she has to meet Mike Whiteman.
Okay.
So I'm like, why do you guys keep saying this? Like, who's Mike Whiteman? So Mike was being prepped to become the director of sports science. And I didn't know that, but he would handle everything. So one day Jason pulls me out of the office and was like, come with me real quick. Puts me right in front of Mike Whiteman. He's like, Mike, this is Amy. Amy, this is Mike. Amy, go. I swear to God, because he knew how I like worked, right? Right so he's like, just go, just tell him. And I go, Mike, my name is Amy. I just started as the director.
Your elevator pitch.
Yeah, this is literally it. I just started as the director of communications here, and I really, really, really would love to learn from you. I want to be a strength and conditioning coach, and I was just wondering if I can't just like learn from you or just watch you or like help you, or I'm happy to stay after work. I was just for free. I just wanted, again, like I just wanted to be of service.
Sure.
And I think that's why Jason liked me. Mm-hmm. I didn't ask for anything, but to be of service.
Of course. So
I did the same with Mike, and he goes, sure. And I just looked at Jason and I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that worked. So like Mike literally,
there's a lesson in there, friends.
Yeah, ask and you might be able to get. Mm-hmm. I mean, he could have said no.
What difference does it make though? If you don't, not gonna know unless you ask.
Exactly. So he graciously like mentored me, and we've been working together for the past 9 years now.
Wow. Building
the program, just him and I, with like interns scattered in. Yeah, but he's the best at what he does, and I am so humbled to stand next to him.
So when you say strength and conditioning, this is the entire strength and conditioning program for the Riverhounds.
Yeah. So he does a lot.
What is that? How do you understand what that entails?
Wow. Okay. So we have the pro team, the men's team. Mm-hmm. He handles that during the weekdays. He just got the green light to go work with the team again. I think COVID really messed things up.
Sure. I'm sure it did.
Yeah. So it's been kind of a learning experience along the way. And we got popped last year. I don't know if you heard our playoff game last year. We couldn't field a team because of COVID, so we had to forfeit.
Yeah, I remember that.
So like,
terrible.
Yeah. So this is the world, I guess, that we live in now.
Sure. Hopefully, we're kind of like getting past that.
Yeah, I think it'll take a while. I think, but we'll get there eventually. But with sports and COVID, it just really changed a lot of things.
No doubt.
So real bizarre. So we've been sort of like on this wave. So he was cleared this year to work with the guys. In previous years, we would work with them. I would work with a couple individuals, like, if they wanted some strength training or mobility or something like that. So I would get pulled in where I needed, essentially.
Okay.
But what we do with most of our time is work with the academy. So the academy system underneath the pro team. So there's boys and girls, and they are it's the ECNL. It's called the ECNL. So it's the highest level of youth soccer that you can play in. Okay. So these kids are being exposed at a high level, national level. And we have girls that go to, I don't know, like these Nike ID camps, which are huge. ODP, Olympic development. Yes. And then they get opportunities to even play for like these, so the women's version of what the USL is. Okay. They get, opportunities to play with these folks. And then even like the national team. it's wild.
Wow.
It's wild.
Wow.
So our girls, for years have just dominated.
Okay.
And the boys are sort of like slowly coming through as well. But they start young. Like we have a grassroots program.
Wow.
And then it goes through from grassroots, you can try out. And then there's each age has its own group.
And this is that, and the overall idea, I'm assuming it's for the health of the sport in general to keep the quality level young, keep the youth interested in playing the right way.
Sure,
is that right?
Yeah. So if you look at, I would say leagues more like you would see in the UK, it's based off of those systems.
Okay.
So it's like very, British of us, right? To do this to have this system.
Okay.
So that's how it's based. So the idea is to get these kids to play at their best, have them exposed on a national level, maybe get scholarships, right?
Sure.
Or have the opportunity to play professionally.
Got it.
So that's kind of the idea behind this. So it's not like, it's unique, right?
Yeah.
Especially
it's a different model than maybe baseball or football. It's a different. It sounds like it's a different model.
I'm honestly not familiar.
Yeah.
But it's very unique.
When you talk about the word mobility, I understand the strength part of it. But
Yeah.
Explain what mobility means in your field. I mean, obviously we can define the word, but what does it really entail?
That it's a really complex question you ask, believe it or not, because mobility was something that was like underutilized.
Okay.
So if you read strength and conditioning 101, they're going to talk about like the big 3 lifts and things like this. For a lot of years, I think that the idea of mobility was overlooked in a way.
Okay.
Now with Olympic lifting, like, are you familiar with Olympic lifting?
Yes.
So those individuals are typically like hypermobile. So it marries this idea of like strength with being able to move really well underneath a bar. Okay. So that's how most people sort of look at mobility. I mean, from a sports perspective. Now, you have this movement going on, and it's been going on for a long time, but not a lot of people are familiar with it, especially in strength and conditioning. They're starting to pay attention to it now because it benefits an athlete to move really well and then load them up.
Like, what do you mean?
So if you are not stable, right? So think of it a foundation, right? If you don't have a solid foundation, do you think you can build anything on top of it?
Of course not.
So you got to look at what stability and mobility can do.
When you say load them up, you mean
add weight
training to it?
Yeah, or even run at a very high speed.
Okay.
So if you look at we're going all out 100% sprint.
Yeah.
That's probably like 3 times your body weight coming at you. And if you cannot control what's coming at you, I mean, you're going to have a hard time.
Right on. Yeah, for sure.
So, like this idea of mobility is moving well.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
In all ranges of motion.
Okay.
Because that's what sports is. Think about it. It's not like just linear.
Right.
You're moving laterally.
No question.
Backwards. You're jumping. You're landing. So you need to know how to do all these things. And if you can't get out of like a low position to jump or move out of the way laterally to the side, you're just going to have a hard time playing sports.
Yeah. If sports in general, whether it's tennis, basketball, football, soccer,
golf,
hockey. Yeah, golf. Is golf a sport?
Oh my God! Did you see what the purse for the Masters was?
Oh, they get paid. Don't get me wrong. They make a lot of money. But
did you see what the purse was for the Masters?
How much was it?
I don't remember, but it had several commas in it and zeros.
Oh, they get paid. No doubt about that. But is it actually a sport?
I think so. I think it is.
I mean, how much mobility training is John Daly doing?
Listen, golf is catching on though because it moves in this. It's a transverse movement, right? Like,
yes.
Like if we cut you in half, right? We're cutting us in half at the belly button, and you got to twist. It's got twisting motion.
Sure.
So listen, strength and conditioning is used in all sports.
Right.
I don't care what anyone says.
Agreed.
Even Formula One.
Well, I think any race car, that's unbelievably demanding.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
NASCAR, Formula One, doesn't matter.
That force against you is incredible.
So I think the body is stressed. Its muscles are stretched. It's stressed constantly.
Constantly. So again, you just have to be a different kind of athlete at that point. And those folks have to be super mobile because they're like cramped in a small space.
Yeah.
Same thing with a jockey.
Yeah, jockey. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. All these guys intersect with each other. That's the thing about strength and conditioning, right? It all really does intersect. Now, you get the actual sport training in your technical sessions, right? Where you're actually playing the sport.
And probably some training that's very specific to the sport you're in, right?
Yeah. So that's where the specificity comes in. But typically they all jump and land or have to run someplace.
Right.
Or may have to, I don't know, dive. So how can we land properly? I
never thought about that.
I'd be doing somersaults on the field, forward somersaults, backward somersaults. I'm doing this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see. Now that you break it down like that, those are the things that you don't, as a fan, you don't casually think about that.
No, you don't. You're just there for the show, just like everybody else. But there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. It's wild to see and to be a part of too.
Yeah, I bet.
It's kind of cool.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in soccer too, because there's soccer is one of those rare sports where it really technically is not a contact sport.
Okay.
But it turns into one. It's like basketball. They're not really supposed to be banging each other,
but they do.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to be able to get in and out of situations quickly. So here's your speed, right? Quickness in all different planes of motion again. Right? Laterally, forward, backwards. Sometimes we, this week, we were doing a lot of things backwards in training.
Okay.
So walking backwards.
Yeah, that's a thing.
On the field. It's a thing now. This is a trend.
I've gone to some tracks to do some walking. I've seen people just walking.
It's so good for you.
Really?
It's so good for you.
You should try that.
Everyone should be. I want you to go to South Hills Village Mall. Go with those mall walkers and start making them.
Backwards.
Yeah, make them walk backwards.
I don't mall walk. What do you think I am, 70?
I don't know.
No, but I'm out of the track and I'm doing my...
There's lava lamps here, for goodness sake.
Well, yeah. That doesn't mean I'm 70.
Oh, whoops.
Lava lamps are cool.
Whoops.
Come on, now. That's from the 70s. That's but you in the 70s doesn't mean you're 70.
Correct. My bad.
Jeez.
I know, my bad.
My gosh.
I know. My bad.
All right, I might have 15 years on you maybe or so, but that's,
Okay.
That's not like a lifetime.
No. Sorry about that.
I'll survive.
I know.
I'll survive. I do walk with a weight vest though.
Okay.
Yeah, I walk my 5 miles a day with a 20-pound weight vest.
Okay.
So there's that.
Okay.
Which is different because most people don't.
Sure, most people don't walk.
They don't. Yeah. How about that? Most people don't walk. Let's talk about that. Most people don't walk. Why is that?
Listen.
How sedentary are we?
Listen, do you remember when I was like, COVID changed things?
Yes.
It has either woken people up.
Me?
Yeah, raise your hands, y'all.
It did for me,
right?
sure.
Or it sent people into a downward spiral.
Yeah.
So interesting, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Why do you think there's such a huge disparity? Because we all experienced the same time period, right?
People are unwell and they're not even aware. Here's that sense of awareness again. They're not even aware that they're in pain, that they walk.
Because they're just used to it.
Yes. And it's comfortable for them to remain rather than... Is it?
I mean... Yeah, it's a good question. I struggle with it a lot. I don't understand how I've been 240 in my life. I'm 170 now. I take the 170 every day.
Right.
Just for the way from breathing to sleeping to stamina to just alertness to everything. It's just a completely different ball game.
But what took you to get
to
the point where you were like, this does not work for me?
Yeah, for me, it started COVID. I just did not want to. I know it was coming. I knew that I was going to have all this free time. I said, why not just use this time to just figure my stuff out? And then I loved it. Yeah. And I just kept doing it. But the more I did it, I was like, why did I wait so long to do this? But I just didn't understand the direction, Amy, that a lot of people went. They went the opposite direction. Mm-hmm. And it made so little sense to me going the other direction. Like, it was like, wow, I just do not get it anymore. Mm-hmm. This isn't really that hard. I'm having a good time. It's fun. I feel better. Mm-hmm. Why would I lay around the couch and put another 40 pounds on? Mm-hmm. I don't get it. I think a lot of people suffer from like mental illness in a way. Certainly.
Not like from a like schizophrenic end. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about
like through conditioning, you mean?
I'm talking about like programming that you've received all your life that you are not worthy.
Yeah, I believe that. 100%
right there.
I believe that.
You're relying on other people to place value upon your own existence.
That's a problem.
Horrible problem.
And I think our social media and our technology kind of plays into that.
It can and it cannot.
Yes, it can.
It can.
It can manipulate that.
It absolutely can.
And exacerbate for people who let it happen to
exactly.
them. In the end, though, I just really believe it's about a personal decision.
Exactly.
And there's no real way around that. You can have people motivate you, and I want to talk about motivation with you in a second. But
all right.
But I'm kind of harsh in that regard, where I just think if you can motivate an idiot, and you basically end up with a motivated idiot. I mean, like, it really. At
least he's motivated.
I guess, but it's almost like there's got to be that personal responsibility of making change, right?
Preach.
Because you can't do that for someone that wants help. I can't do that for someone who wants help. We can show them all kinds of different things. Mm-hmm. You certainly more than I, because that's your field. But in the end, if they don't take that first step forward, you're just wasting your time.
Well, it's always up to them. It doesn't matter if it's being in the gym or eating something, or it's all based on your own choice, right? Mm-hmm. There's a power of choice. It doesn't matter if you think it's arbitrary or not. It leads you in some kind of place, right? I could smoke 100 cigarettes right now. Where you think that's going to lead me?
Yeah.
Like in the grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably get cancer and I'd die early, right? Do I want that for me? No, I'm not going to go smoke 100 cigarettes, right?
But why will someone over here do exactly what you just said?
I can't understand what a person chooses because it's their own choice. They take personal responsibility.
Are we not supposed to understand that?
I don't know, but what happened? Okay, and here's another pivotal point in my life. So, things changed for me, and I got to a point, and I wanted to become a better person because I knew that there were certain things that I was doing to lead me in a path that wasn't working for me.
Okay.
We all make mistakes, right?
Sure.
We're allowed to. That's how we learn.
Of course.
I think that if you learn how to pivot properly, you can come away from damn near anything, right? So I worked on myself. Okay, and I looked at kind of like goals, I would say.
Sure.
Not married to goals, but to have a place that you would like to go is always like easier for you to follow that road.
Certainly.
Right?
Certainly.
So goals are important to a point, but you need to understand what your own core values as a person are.
I like to say, a lot of the population is running around today without a personal philosophy.
Right.
This is what I've said from day one. I've said this for decades. Mm-hmm. And without a personal philosophy, you're really kind of just careening from wall to wall.
Right. I totally agree with you. So it's understanding what your goals are, and there's a way to get there. There's an absolute blueprint on how to get to some place. There just is. So, but it all is in you doing the thing to get you to the next thing, to get you to the next. Does that make sense?
It builds, certainly.
So, it all aligns with the power of choice.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
And you have to understand, like, if you're having a hard time choosing, you have to understand what your own personal values are. And it allows your decisions to become easier because you can say, you know what, this doesn't align with my own core values. Like, it's out of integrity.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
So, like, I'm not going to move forward with that because I feel like it's out of integrity for me. That's an easy decision.
But if your own health isn't in your integrity quotient, there's a problem there.
Exactly. But people do not want to take personal responsibility. Here's another core value of themselves. They want to take a pill. They want to. It's this easy thing, and
it's getting worse.
It's getting worse. It's actually, so in a lot of ways it's getting better. There's more accessibility, but it's a separation. It's a huge separation.
Like, what do you mean?
I think that there is more for a human to go out and do physically these days than there has been in a while. So if you look at the Strip District right now, have you been down there? There's like a ton of workout spots down there.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, there's just places. There's more places to get outside and be entertained. If that's what you need to motivate you to get outside and walk,
or have a community, like a sense of community. That's why these places thrive.
Bingo. That's what I was kind of getting at.
Yeah. Yes. So people need a sense of community. It's very like, what do I want to say? Almost like dogmatic of them. It's like a religion. You know how like it's CrossFit versus. It's like shut up, bro. Come on, bro. Take your shirt off.
That really
bro.
happens?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
CrossFit's almost a cult.
Oh, man. Like,
I'm sorry.
No, I know.
Just giving you personal opinion, but I mean, it's like, I kind of think that,
But, well, you can say that about anything. You can say that about, like, bar.
Of course.
These ladies that do.
Barre.
Yeah. They're like, it's my 100th Peloton. Hello.
Yeah, we had a Peloton. No one used it. We brought it to the house. I bought one to use during COVID and then hated it and then went out and walked. That was my thing. Walking it turned out to be my thing. Peloton just didn't do it for me.
With the treadmill?
Yeah. No.
Oh, the actual bike.
The bike.
Okay.
Yeah, the bike, yeah.
Yeah. I dig it. It's again.
Do you like it? Do you have one?
I don't have one.
No. But you dig it.
No, I think this is what I think. I think if you find what you love to do as far as movement, you should do it.
Okay.
And you shouldn't let anybody take that away from you.
Thank you. Sing it, sister.
Of course. Like, who am I to judge your whatever you're doing?
Yeah.
I'm nobody.
No. I'm just like, I got this, for me, it's almost irreligious to me. I do 5 miles a day, that weight vest. Whether I do road work or whether I bought one of those manual treadmills. There was the slats, and I'll tell you what, I mean, it's like, it's hard, especially with the weight vest on.
Yeah, of course.
And do 4 to 5 miles per hour is on there as a son of a bitch.
Yeah, of course it is.
But it's fantastic.
It is.
I mean, holy hell! But you can't explain that to your buddies because they're just like, that's just boring and I can't go out. I can't walk around my neighborhood for 5 miles. I can't go out for 90 minutes a day. I don't have the time. I don't have this. It's like and I'm okay with that. I didn't ask to have the conversation. They bring it up to me, so they're curious.
Are they curious?
I think that they ask.
Okay.
So, but then they don't. But then I tell them what I do, and they're like, then there's always excuses they can't.
The excuse,
and I used to feel bad about it, Amy. Now I kind of just laugh.
For yourself, you felt bad?
No, I didn't feel bad for them. But after a while, I started listening. Like, well, they really don't want. They're just not there yet. I think they're just not at that point where they're not either scared enough or something hasn't brought it to their forefront.
They don't think they need to do anything because they're in whatever they're in, and that's it.
So help me understand this too, because, and I say this with kindness, and I do not say this in a bad way or in a hurtful way. But if you go to the mall and look around, we've now become okay with being, and I don't know if the government has the right weight limits in the technical terms, but for what they consider obese, again, I'm not saying I have all the right numbers and scales correct. However, we're kind of okay now just being bigger. We're just okay with it. And 20, 30 years ago, it really wasn't that way. I mean, you wouldn't see so many people with such a large physical state. And I'm not talking weightlifting. I'm talking fat. It's become mainstreamed.
Well, here's what it is the it's like the body positivity movement.
Let's talk. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. So you know how I said like earlier, without the good you cannot have bad, and without the bad, right? Yeah. So there's opposite ends of the spectrum. So
certainly
we are allowing people to be comfortable with being fat
/ unhealthy. Okay, and we're saying like we shouldn't shame them, that's true. You shouldn't shame anybody for the way that they look. I think everybody can agree with that, really.
But you can overcome whatever you want in life. It just takes a lot of effort. I don't care what it is. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you put the work in, and if you have some mental toughness and some support, you can do it. You can literally do whatever you want. I am absolute proof of this. I'm not talking about physically. I'm just talking about me making a change in my life to do what I do now.
Right.
When, you know, like people could have laughed in my face. So like, I get it. What I do is not easy, but I do it because I love it.
Sure.
And because I'm like being of service.
Well, let me ask you this question. This is more esoteric or maybe more philosophical, but do we just not love ourselves enough anymore? That we've just kind of given up? Because I don't understand how we have put the concept of hurt feelings ahead of our health. And that's where we are today. It's from my limited view in 2022.
Yeah.
Hurt feelings is more important than someone's health, because you can't even, you have to be careful how you even try to encourage someone to get physical or start the process, because you don't want to
hurt their feelings.
Because I have every right to be this way. Yeah, you have a right to be this way.
Well, let's look at it at the opposite ends of the spectrum. So you have skinny shaming as well. Did you know that's a thing?
I'm feeling some of it now.
So yeah.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
Like, you're anorexic.
Right.
I it doesn't really hurt me, but it's funny.
But
it's funny.
Well,
for me to get that is like, I feel great, but you're telling me I'm anorexic and I need to eat a cheeseburger. I mean,
I get that all the time.
Some of it's okay for joking around, but after all, is it really shaming, or is it really a defense mechanism? Because somehow we're causing some kind of weird intimidation, which is just weird. But I'm grasping at straws because I don't get it.
Well, I all I think it is a reflection of the other person. All they're doing is they're taking this insecurity and they're dumping it on you because you're doing the work and you're reaping the benefits of it.
Okay.
Are you not?
Okay. Yeah, that's why I did it in the first place.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're doing it. Your skin's in the game. Theirs is not. So they're going to put you down.
But I'm not doing it for them.
Exactly. But,
you know?
but
like,
the ego comes in. The ego comes in and like tries to destroy.
Okay.
That's like what your ego does sometimes. It's there to protect you, but it is like, it can destroy you.
Certainly.
Mike Tyson talks about this. Like, he had everything and his ego destroyed everything that he had, ended up in jail.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, horrible.
No doubt.
And then had to rebuild himself. And now he's like this profound prophet. You know,
I cannot get over how well-read and how well-spoken he is.
That's what I'm talking about.
If you've not seen him with Rogan on a couple occasions, you need to do that.
He's got his own podcast called Hot Boxing.
I know he does.
It's the best.
He needs to stay off commercial flights for a while.
Oh, wow. He'll fall forward, though. He's going to fall forward.
He always does.
Yeah. So he listen, what he did was not right. I'm not condoning it, but like, he kind of like had to stick up. He had to stick up for himself.
But back to the whole idea that people won't take the ownership of it. It's just so,
because it's hard. It's not easy to do.
But I think, isn't it interesting though, if you examine someone's life where they may be not doing that well on the weight and health issue, if you look at other aspects of their life, they may be doing some amazing things at their job or in hobbies, things that they like.
Yeah.
And they're seeing reaffirmation of good, earnest work in those areas. it just needs to be redirected, right?
Yeah, so like there's like wellness, if you take it as a whole, there's many aspects to wellness, right? We're talking about like physical wellness, right? Fat, skinny, whatever. But there's many aspects to what wellness is. There's like a spiritual aspect, right? And humans connect to the spirit because we don't know what it is.
Right.
So
Agreed.
we explore it, and that's the thing is, I have nothing against religion. I have nothing against what people believe, but I think it's so personal of an experience that you cannot tell someone what to do. You just can't, and you can't judge it. It doesn't matter if it's like Satanism, right?
Yeah, and there's a fine line between giving advice and being dictatorial, but I just don't understand how. Case in point, I'll share this with you.
Okay.
Interesting to get your. I said this once on a podcast prior with Ed Lattimore. He used to be a professional boxer. He's a lecturer and a speaker now. Basically, I call him a modern day philosopher. He's just something. I asked him the same question. I said, I find it interesting that I get a lot of comments from family and friends now that you eat a ham sandwich, it's your skin. I can see your bones in your face. You look like you're emaciated. I mean, and other weird, sometimes jovial, sometimes kind of cutting. And I have to say that it's fascinating to me in the following way. If you go on Google and you type in the names of the male musicians, or even better yet, the actors that were popular in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, and you put them all there, the ones that were like the sex symbols, or the ones that women, the opposite sex, really loved, all of them, from John Travolta to James Caan and on Tom Selleck, on and on, they're all 30, 31, 32 waist people. There's nothing different about the way I'm built in the way that they're built. I mean, they're probably more toned and muscular, but
Well, they have personal chefs and shit.
But the frame, though, the waist. So why is it no longer okay for a male to be a size 32 waist? Okay, today, but 30, 40, 20, 30, 40 years ago, that was the standard.
Right.
But now suddenly that's too skinny, or it's not too skinny. We've just adjusted. I would assume we just adjusted our observational standards of life. What has changed?
I think that our healthcare system is incredibly broken. Broken.
Probably
Absolutely.
in a lot of ways.
Absolutely terribly broken. And it makes us think that we are not worthy. It makes us feel like we're not worthy, because these doctors just prescribe us to death. And that's what they do. They prescribe us to death.
Sometimes when it's so funny you said that, because I have had people comment to me, and I have my own experience where I've thought the same thing. And the two doctors in general who were prescribing pills to me over the last 5 to 7 years, I'm looking at them and they're just not the epitome of health themselves. Right. It's unbelievable.
Right. There's your yin and your yang.
They're at 300 pounds, but they're telling me that I have to.
You can't eat an egg. Yeah. Or whatever. Right. But here's the thing is
at bare minimum.
Right. But they were taught that.
Yeah.
So they're underneath a programming within the institution. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
So, and listen, there's a time and a place to be prescribed. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. It serves its purpose.
It serves its purpose. I'm not saying that, but
how do we change? Like, why? Why?
I want to say it's like the way that food became processed, so heavily processed, and we decided that that's how. Instead of making things,
I understand how that. I believe it happened with corn when we went to corn syrup. Like
Monsanto is evil.
In the Nixon administration, when they decided that corn would feed the world,
right?
But going from pure cane sugar probably isn't that great either. But putting corn syrup in for everything else, I think that did not help.
None of this helps us.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. The system is so broken.
But I'm talking more about this, more about the public opinion. Like Burt Reynolds was roughly the same weight and
Yeah.
size that I am. But why am I like emaciated? But he was like a, I don't mean the facial part. I'm
like
just talking
normal
about
looking.
Yes, his
He was accepted.
that. I think that was wanted back in that age,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's not, and it just blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would think.
Let's look at it from the opposite.
Okay.
Right. I'm pretty, like, I'm a lanky 5'2", right? I get judged because I'm not, how do we want to say this, like, full figured now, right? I don't have enough ass. Or, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's that too.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, we're conditioned to look at, these folks who are overweight, and again, I'm not saying don't accept them, but it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. And if you're having difficulties losing that, you don't have to shame other people or say like, well, you look, and it's just like, but you're not healthy. And that's just the point. Like, you're just not healthy. And there's perfect strangers that care about these people, that want to help them. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram, I think. Yeah, Instagram. And he talks about this constantly, this body positive movement, and how people are so warped into thinking that is the standard to have.
100%.
It's the standard to have.
100%.
When it shouldn't be. And he talks about, like, not being able to go to, like, Fenway Park. Have you ever been to Fenway Park?
I have.
Those seats are small.
Yes, they're very small.
Yeah, so people have a hard time sitting in them, and they can't sit in them. The airlines, you name it, there is something that this affects, and it creates this horrible deficit within the health industry. Horrible deficit, because we're spending all kinds of money to try to fight this disease. It's not fighting. It's making the right choices for yourself, or understanding what the right choices are. It's misinformation. I'm going to say that, and I hate that. But there's a lot of information that's floating around on the internet, and a ton of it's garbage.
Yeah, no question.
So you have to be able to decipher between.
100%.
And, like, I get into arguments
100%.
sometime on, like, Facebook. Like, I had someone ask me.
You don't say Facebook argument.
Yeah.
When's that ever happened?
Like on something like real arbitrary. So someone had asked me about, like, do you eat brown rice or do you eat white rice? And I said, you eat the white rice. And it's like, well, brown rice has all these vitamins, all these things in it. And it's like, it doesn't matter. I want you to look at what people have been eating for, like, ages.
Right.
Have they been eating brown rice? No.
Right.
They're eating the white rice. And the difference is, and here's what's confusing, is like the nutritional information on the back. Sometimes it's like,
I think
it's hard.
Sometimes I think they make it up, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sometimes.
Who's holding them accountable?
Right? Who's holding them accountable?
It's real. I mean, if I produce this prepackaged food and I say it's got 7 grams of protein and okay, and the public just sees it and they accept it as gospel.
Because it has 7 grams of protein
but who's
in it.
really holding that firm accountable to it?
Yeah, again, the system is, like, broken in a way, but there's good things that you can find. It's just hard to find them.
Well, it also is expensive to eat.
No, it's not.
Right. Okay, so the conventional wisdom is that it is. So talk to me how it isn't.
I shop at Aldi. They have organic options, non-organic options.
Well, let me rephrase that. I think you're right, because I am extremely picky now too. But now it's just a habit. Now I don't. It's just part of my lifestyle. When I say expensive, let me rephrase that. Let me say this.
Okay.
It's become at times very inexpensive to eat like shit.
Yeah.
Because of
it can
at times, like the dollar value menu. And,
have you gone to McDonald's lately?
I have not for food. No.
Yeah. So if you order from McDonald's, you're going to probably spend close to, I don't know, $13 to $15 to $20.
I believe it.
You think you can get something better for $20?
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah, I was
So-
thinking more like so what you're saying is maybe it's just out of laziness and convenience people just do it.
So yeah, you just take what's in front of you without even thinking.
Because
It's
a little more
mindless.
effort to go find the good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's mindless.
But now, and it's so funny and timely you said this, because like I know what I want, and some of the organic stuff I can get from Target of all places. They'll
Yeah.
deliver it to my house.
Exactly.
So really, there really isn't any excuse.
Exactly. Instacart does that too for
I mean,
Aldi or
Shipt
wherever.
whatever it was, SHIPT or
Yeah.
some service
There's
like that.
so again, there's more accessibility. You just
Yeah.
have to harness
Yeah,
it.
see, the excuses are going away, folks.
Right. They must in order for you to like get your goal. They
Okay.
must. Right? You got to get out of your own way.
Got to get out of your own.
You got to get out of your own way. And also, when these people say things, and you know how I say it's like a projection, I've learned that other people's opinions of you are none of your business.
It's a book called what's it called? The Four Agreements or
Yeah.
something? You familiar with it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's with one of them, I think. Yeah, it's none of your business.
It's none of your business, good or bad, because you don't want it to feed your ego if it's a good thing, right? Because
Right.
that's dangerous.
Right.
But you also don't want it to hurt your heart, because some of the things that people nitpick about you physically, you can't change that. You can't change
No.
yourself physically.
No,
So like
No.
you're coming at me with like low hanging fruit.
very.
Are you done? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good thing. But I will say this though too. It appears that there's a lot of because it's been a fascinating case study for me the past year or so when I changed my physical appearance, and it's to some people's dismay. But looking at it, I've noticed that there's a lot of very frustrated people. I'm not saying that there isn't pathways for them. They probably even know they're there.
Well, they've
but They just
tried.
can't.
They tried a couple of
Exactly.
times. But here's the thing. You are a Rubik's Cube. You as a human being are a Rubik's Cube, and I am my own. Okay?
Right.
The way we get to where we're going, all the colors lining up, right? It's a different pathway for you than it is for me.
Certainly.
And you eat certain things that agree with you, and I do that for me.
Sure.
Our physiology is so different that there's no like one way to do.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
once you try to wrap your brain around that, and as you get older, your hormones change. So you have to eat and move to accommodate that.
What's more important, the diet or the movement?
Diet.
So the battle's won in the
The
kitchen.
diet.
The battle's won in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. Fascinating.
Yeah, because it doesn't quite matter how you move. That's why I said what I said earlier. I don't care how, like, if you do CrossFit or bar or whatever, you find that one thing that lights you up that you want to go to and you want to move with, and you do it because that's good for you. It's releasing all kinds of feel-good chemicals within your body, and it's a controlled stress.
No
and our
question.
bodies are built for controlled stress.
Got it.
That's what we're made to do. Okay. So it's not a bad thing. I don't care how you move, just move, right?
Let's talk about food for a second, because it's
Okay.
fascinating to me that I eat a very regimented, like bland,
Yeah.
regimented, low sodium diet right now.
Oh, sodium.
Because I'll,
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. What was
Okay.
an age difference between us two?
But what? Okay.
Yeah, well, let's talk about sodium, because sodium was a hot spot for you. What's the sodium problem?
Sodium is demonized.
Oh, I would agree.
Sodium is absolutely
I just don't eat like ridiculous amounts of them, because I
Okay.
don't. Because when I do, I just don't feel
Yeah.
well.
You probably get like puffy and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. So
Yeah.
I know my limits, right? When I say low sodium, I don't mean no sodium.
Right.
I'm not talking like 400 milligrams a day. I'm talking about a reasonable between
Yeah.
like 1,200 to 1,600 a day. But
Right.
I'm not eating like
Processed
a whole
foods.
pizza. It's going to put me over 5,500
Right.
a day.
Right.
But anyways, my diet to some, very bland, but it's taken, how do I say this? I don't love food. I really never did love food, but I would eat out of stress, or I would eat out of, if it was at a meal, I would just continue to eat. But I never loved food.
Okay.
Because I never loved food, that's weird to people, because I guess most people, and that's cool if you dig your foodie, fantastic. It's not my bag. So now that I've really on a restricted diet, I have to remind myself to eat, and eating is now a chore I mean, like, not like a laborious chore, but it's like, okay, I have to do it. I do it. But it doesn't, the eating is, I don't orchestrate I don't orchestrate my life around eating.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that do.
Yes.
And I don't know how to flip we got here.
This is Pittsburgh, though. You have to look at our environment, right?
Like, what do you mean?
Well, we come from like very blue collar, right? Steel industry, trucking, all this other stuff. And like Permane Brothers, you know the story about them, right? It's the truckers and they need something quick to go.
Yeah.
So that's how that came to be.
So you're saying we're more inclined to grab comfort food here?
Yes. I think it's
that's
culturally
not always the best to
I
eat.
think it's culturally based. I think that Pittsburgh is very eclectic. We have all kinds of people that live here.
No question.
Right? And because it's so cultural, again, it becomes very like religious or dogmatic to us.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because like look at Lent and fish fries and
Fish fries.
right?
That's a thing, right?
It is a huge thing, and there's nothing wrong with it. There is
Usually
nothing.
Fish tastes like shit, though. I
Well-
hate to say that. You do it because you're there for you're there for the
community.
Yeah, but it's like, oh man, that oil is not real good, and like
Oils are not good.
not those those omega 6s
No
and those
chance.
and those vegetables
No
are not
chance.
good. Yeah, right
Yeah.
on. We're on the same page.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but like this is what food is tied to. Now there are fantastic other options.
Yeah.
So is there a location in Bakery Square? Is there like another taco out there?
What do you mean?
You know the restaurant Taco?
Yeah.
Didn't they open one in Bakery Square recently?
I don't know. It's the other side of the planet for me.
I think they did. It was either that or Condado. And I know that they hate each other, but I can't remember. It's tacos, you guys. But what's great
Get
about
with it.
I know what's great about that place though is you can go there and you can just like order like chicken or steak or whatever
Right.
a la carte and
Oh,
you
yeah.
can take it with you.
Right on.
So like people don't know that that's an option for them is to go out to a place and eat properly for the night and not undo yourself. There's other places for that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's many options for that, but you don't have to like fly off the rails because you're out on a Friday night. You can still consume what you need to consume.
Well, it comes back to that personal. We haven't talked about the concept of discipline yet, right? Because
Interesting.
personal
That is-
discipline is just a mother. But the great thing is, I told my son this the other day because he says, "Dad, you eat the same schedule and you do everything." I said, "Well, it took me a while to get this way, but once I figured it out, it's really easy. Once you get them, like you said, whether it's the body in motion or you just get the activity in motion and you get the system down." You just follow the system.
Right.
But I think it's funny. That's hard to convince people who are not disciplined that there's that being disciplined sometimes is easier to live.
and cheaper. It's so wild, but we are programmed somehow to think that is the opposite. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we have
For
outside people telling us that.
Got it.
But they don't have any right to tell us that. I'm living my life for me, not you. I'm not going
Right.
to people please you because you want me to
100%.
fit in or something like that.
100%.
I'm just going to do this because it's for me. And if you really loved me or if you were really my friend, you would understand that
Yeah.
and give me some grace
Yeah.
because
would
I
think.
want to be better.
Yeah, and that's where that's the puzzling thing. And again, I try to live my life in an unoffendable way. Like I just do that. Like I don't really care what anybody says, but it's a fascinating case study when you keep getting the same kind of caustic feedback about the same thing, sometimes from the same group of people. Then you start analyzing, like, so what's really causing all this? And it's not pretty. I mean, especially with the weight shaming or whether it's the
Like food shaming too.
food shaming.
Yeah, like big time. Like I get that
Yeah, for
all
sure.
the time.
For sure.
And I'm just like, well, what are my choices? What do they have to do with you? And what do your choices have to do with me? Actually, nothing.
Nothing at all.
Wrap your brain around that for 2 seconds. Other people's choices, again, have nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It's our ego that tells us that we need to be involved
Why is my health change a threat?
to you.
And like, why? Like, I don't get that. I don't know if it's a male ego thing. I can't if you say that's what it is, that's what it is. I don't get it.
Right.
That's fine, but
it's
I don't
the competition. It's the ego.
What kind of competition?
Exactly.
Whose game are we running in?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
So,
I don't get that.
That's like an expectation of the person that's in front of you. And again, like how can you rise to an expectation that you know nothing about? But it's all insecurity. All you're doing is you're unearthing insecurities in other people because you're doing the thing.
But that's insane.
I know. I get it all the time.
That's insane.
Do you know how many people like they'll just tell me like, you make me feel bad about myself? Do you know how?
What's a horrible thing?
It's a horrible thing for someone to say that to your face. And I get that a lot. You make me feel terrible about myself. And
they say that to you.
My face.
They say that to you.
To my face. I had a discussion actually with my mom on Sunday. And I have to make excuses for myself as to why I do the thing that I do. Like they don't understand my why, and they don't have to. It's not yours. It's not yours.
Yeah.
But I have to make excuses for the way that I look physically, right? I'm a product of the things that I do, though. So I tell people this. I'm a product of the things that I do. I'm a product of the sleep that I get, right? I'm the product of the training that I do to myself in the gym. And you've seen some of the stuff that I do.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
not easy.
No, not at all.
So I'm a product of the way that I eat. I'm a product of the environment that I'm in every single day. I'm just
and
a
your mental
product.
state, the positivity, feeding yourself positivity and keeping your mental health well.
But people don't want you to have that because they are not satisfied with themselves. So they have to take it out on someone. And instead of rising up within them and changing themselves, it's easier for them to make other people feel like shit about themselves.
Defense mechanism almost.
100%. It's just projection. It's constant projection. And I would do this. Like, I remember I have an 8-year-old daughter, soon to be 8-year-old daughter. And I remember people being like, I don't understand like how you bounce back or whatever. And I'm like, bounced back? I said, I never stopped doing what I was doing. I had to stop after I gave birth on doctor's orders for 6 weeks.
Right.
But as soon as I was cleared, I was back doing.
See, that's unfathomable to, I think, most people because we live, and again, if I get criticized for saying this, I don't care. We live a very sedentary life, and that is the quote unquote norm today.
It is.
So anyone that's deviating from away from that, we are the weird ones.
Yeah, like I don't fit in here.
I get it.
I don't fit in at all. Like my
it.
circle is so small, and I think people they'll say like, oh, I know you. And I'm like, do you know me? I don't think that you do. I think that you saw me on a website once, or like I train your kid, or, whatever it is. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But you actually don't know a thing about me. And if you're looking on my social media to determine that, you're getting the smallest piece of me.
Yeah.
Period.
It's funny you said social media. So you take this very sedentary life that most folks are living. You take a new acceptance of all of these complex carbohydrates that we are ingesting, this processed food we're ingesting, and our waist size going up. And that seems to be the norm as everybody looks around and maneuvers. That's what they're seeing. You take all that, and now you throw a technology starting 10, 12 years ago, this social media thing that now gives another vehicle for us to intercommunicate and get in each other's lives more detailed than we ever have before.
It connects us, but it also separates us greatly.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Again, there's the yin and the yang.
And that's where we're at with it right now.
There's the yin and the yang. Where do you fit in?
Yeah, the yin and the yang.
Yeah, so again, you can't have one without the other. That's just how this is. But, in order for you to recognize the good and the bad, you have to do some searching. Yeah,
I have a very, very good friend of mine, the gentleman who does the radio show with me, Rocco Koza is on. Rocco wrote a book years ago, The Alpha Way. And it's a good book, and he talks about the dark side and being in touch with your dark side. It doesn't mean you have a psycho killer in there. It's just the yin and yang of your personality. And he the essence of what he said was getting in touch with your dark side and understanding that it has equal representation in your being to your light side, to your positivity, and being comfortable with your dark side in that it's there and it's not going anywhere, and you really can't eliminate it.
You got to walk with it.
Exactly. And that's his whole premise. And that was very eye-opening when he and I had our first conversation like 3 years ago. It was like, that was, because it made sense to me. Mm-hmm. And no one ever told me it that way before.
Yeah. It's almost like when people say, well, just get over it. You know? You don't get over something. You get through something.
Right on.
That's how you get over it. But you don't ever get over it. There's lessons to be learned within that, and it shapes who you are and all this other stuff. It's that same principle if you think about it, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, 100%. What do you think is the toughest? Let me ask you this question. So, if someone came to you that it was, let's say, female, let's say 50 pounds overweight, and they wanted, it really seemed genuine and wanted to work with you, and you're going to put them on a plan and help them. What do you think generally, because I know everybody's specific, but just generally, what is the harder thing, getting them to move or getting them to do caloric restriction?
Do we all need to do caloric restriction in some way? Yes. Okay. And again, this is what I would say, and I've done this before. I would say, what I do as far as like movement in the way that I move a human, right? That is so easy. It's this fueling factor, the eating. I'm telling you, it's like 80% of the game. 20% is the way that you move. That's how little it is.
The battle is won in the kitchen.
I'm telling you, it is. And there's so much information.
So what are we doing wrong? And nutritionally, what seems to be the big ones here? Like
fat was demonized. Number
100%.
one.
Do you know who Mark Sisson is? The Primal Blueprint.
I've heard
Mark's
of him.
MarksDailyApple was the website that started there, and he took paleo and made it different. It was primal. Is more.
Yep.
Okay.
Doesn't he have products in like Target and stuff like
He
that?
does.
Primal Life and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's where it's gone. But yeah, sorry for interruption. But
No,
it's
you're
just
fine.
fascinating that you knew who Mark Sisson, the Primal Blueprint, was.
Yeah, of course. I know
he was a big fat proponent.
Yes.
The right kind of fat.
Yes. And again, because the FDA makes a pyramid and tells us that we have to eat a certain amount of calories, and the BMI that you were talking about before, the BMI, we have nothing else to measure right now, okay? So they use BMI to calculate for science purposes. There are better ways. We just haven't come up with that.
Okay.
So think about circumference of like the belly.
Right.
That actually tells you a lot.
Right.
Right. The BMI, it doesn't account for like your bones or your organs, or what type of adipose tissue, meaning fat. There's good adipose tissue that you want. It's brown adipose tissue. Brown adipose tissue. That's what you want to build in your body.
Right.
That's healthy fat. All that other stuff, not good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So understanding what to fuel yourself with, it's different for everyone. So the reason, so I said earlier, things are becoming more accessible to us.
Yes.
Right. So I work at a wellness center part-time.
Yeah.
I do assisted
Restore
hyper
wellness.
wellness.
Yes.
Yeah. So their big thing is like cryotherapy, and like IV drips and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a mobility specialist there, so I do assisted stretch. Okay. So what we also offer within those walls are biomarker assessments, and what they tell is either 150 or 250 foods and how you are sensitive towards them. Once you have this information in your hands, it literally tells you like avocados may be an inflammatory marker for you as an individual. So don't eat them.
Right on.
We don't want inflammation within the body.
Right.
So what we consume creates inflammation in the body, and it feeds things like cancer.
Yeah.
This is real life. This is science. This is nothing new. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
I don't claim to be, but this is something that you can read every single day.
You reduce inflammation at all costs.
Reduce inflammation. get rid of processed foods right then and there, because that's what's causing the majority of it. And there's processed foods everywhere. So if you don't understand them, get with somebody that understands them so you know what to stay away
Pick the
away
food
from.
around the edge of the grocery store, right? Don't pick
Yeah,
from
like
the
fruits
middle.
and vegetables, eat them. Fruit is also kind of demonized too because of the
Amount of
sugar.
The amount of sugar.
But like I
It
wouldn't
depends
worry
on the
about
fruit, right?
It depends on the fruit. There's like low glycemic and like high
Like you
glycemic.
wouldn't suggest someone that's really struggling with weight to just consume a lot of bananas. That's just not smart. But blueberries would be a different story.
They have
right?
antioxidants in it. The bananas, or I'm sorry,
But
the blueberries.
There's
But like
difference in
well,
starch and glycemic load.
Yeah, there's higher glycemic, and if you are diabetic, you kind of have to watch that.
Certainly.
But what's in fruits and vegetables, even though there is a sugar component to it, there's also a fiber component to it. So when you consume that, when your body breaks it down, it actually takes the fiber and the sugar, and it sort of like cancels each other out.
Right.
So
We
yes,
don't get enough fiber in general, do we?
I'm not sure. It depends on what you're eating on a day to day. I mean, you can overdo fiber.
Oh, certainly.
So
No
again,
doubt.
it's the
And you know when you do.
Oh my god! Yeah, right. Is this like a Johnny Depp like segue? Yeah.
Oh my God, was that horrific or what?
I mean, what? The
They showed
hell?
it. They showed the
But, like,
picture of it.
But like, what the hell
She
is
said it
going?
came out of a little Pomeranian dog
Yeah,
or
right.
some bullshit like that. I mean, like, come on.
Honey bunny, please. No one is right or wrong in that one. It's just so entertaining, though. What's unfolding?
We have to laugh because if you don't laugh, you'll just like you just
Johnny
wanna-
Depp's laughing the whole time.
I
He
think
is
so.
laughing the whole time.
I think so. Oh my God.
Sorry, I
These
don't.
were- No, it's
I went
crazy.
right off.
No, that's all right.
on
No,
that.
I think I just find it fascinating to me that the pyramid they still really haven't adjusted.
horseshit.
All these years, I mean, the pyramid is being attacked by all these nutritional folks for so long, and the government won't come off.
No, because it fuels, like the Monsanto and all this other stuff. So, I mean, this goes to.
What's your thoughts on grain in general? Because like Sisson's big thing is he's no grain.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Not so much from a gluten standpoint. He just doesn't think the grain benefits.
Yeah, so the grain is ultra processed, at least in the United States. So we are getting ultra processed grains being put into
Weird
our
hybrid
food.
grains. Yeah.
I mean, GMO, I'm not really. It's like I'm not against GMO, but like we don't know the science behind it to like really say.
Well,
I
like-
think at this point,
Well,
maybe.
like wheat seeds, I guess, have been bastardized and hybrid so many times now that this quality of wheat, we really don't know what the hell it is.
Well,
right?
yeah. So that's why regenerative farming is becoming like the standard now, as far as like the food system. Like Dan Barber, he's like a Michelin star chef.
Right.
New York base, I believe, has a farm to table, like a literal farm to table. And he grows everything, and they use regenerative farming. So like one of the meals that he'll present is like vegetables from the garden. Okay. And they're just vegetables from the garden. But apparently when you eat this stuff, it's like the greatest tasting carrot you could ever have in life.
It's like going to
because
going
it's
to farmers,
grown
100%.
in a fashion where it has nutritional value to it, and it is like it's the best.
Yeah, you can definitely tell with tomatoes. You get tomatoes that were
Anything. So I mean it comes down to like farming, and it's this whole system that we're involved in, right?
And there's a fight, obviously, the big corporations in general in the food business. Grain has been the easiest thing probably to feed the masses with, and it's in everything.
It's in everything.
And, what's your thoughts on gluten and gluten intolerance? Do you think we've exacerbated that? Do you think it's a very real thing? What's your thoughts on it?
I actually think that we all have an inflammatory response. Some are greater than others, right? There's a spectrum on it. But I think, again, in the United States, we're going to have issues because of the way things are created
Okay.
from the ground up.
Okay.
So I think if you're eating, a Western diet here in the United States and, you're eating gluten, you're going to have an inflammatory response, period.
Yeah.
It could be very little, who knows, but, things like those biomarker assessments would tell you that. So like that, again, that's what I would say, like get a biomarker assessment, see what you can and cannot eat. So you know what to stay away from. So you're automatically like reducing inflammation.
Sure.
And you would start to see like the weight come off.
Yeah. It's science, right?
It's science. It's literal science. And if you go to like a nutritionist or a dietitian and you don't have one of these markers, they're simply just guessing for the most part, because you are an individual, right? And they can just tell you, well, try this based off of what you eat, get rid of this.
Well, that's how they handle, if I'm not mistaken, that was the old way of handling like allergy tests and things, right? I mean, before allergy testing came out, they would just say, okay, well, eliminate these things and give it a month.
Right.
If that doesn't work, then put them back in but eliminate these things.
Right.
It was just trial and error.
Right. And then that's like the beauty of science, is that it's like something to be discovered all the time. Like it's forever changing and we're discovering new things all the time.
Right.
So again, like we don't know everything. Like I'll give you an example. I follow this woman, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon.
Okay.
And she did a lot of her work like in geriatrics. But she was studying, instead of adipose tissue, like fat tissue, like everybody else is doing, right? We're demonizing fat. We're fight against fat. She was looking at musculature. Mm-hmm. Now, your muscles are an endocrine organ, so they excrete, right? So that's what was missing in like some of this research is like, why aren't they? It's like the largest organ, right? Skin and like muscle. Why aren't we looking at the muscle and what it can do for us? So she's like presenting her data and it's like very muscle centric.
Okay.
How to eat to keep the muscles from getting into atrophy, right? And what that does for the longevity of a human's life, right?
Interesting.
This is the research that's out now.
Interesting.
Which is insane that this hasn't come out sooner. Or maybe it has, but like the community wanted to, keep it kind of thing, which is like, that's real.
Sure.
Because it's like kind of hokey in a way. But she says that like in order for you to just like maintain that, you should eat 1 gram of protein per 1 pound.
Wow.
So like think about that. And a lot of people, that's what they say is wow. But it's really not. It's really not. And then she goes into this further, but she'll talk about like trying to get at least 30 grams is like a magic number per feeding.
Interesting.
Like minimum.
Interesting.
And what that does is like, not only is it good for like your musculature, right? Like you need, there are 9 essential amino acids that you need to consume to get, right? That's so vital for our musculature. When you're not getting that, your muscles don't function properly. Right. This is why I say that your diet is more important to the way that you move. So if you had to pick, start with your diet and get that under control so that the way that you move is fueled by the fuel that you put in your body. Recovery, building of muscle, weight loss.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Well, what about the folks that really need weight loss help before anything else? When someone is, I hate to use the word morbid, it's a terrible word to use, but again, feelings over reality. But someone that's very overweight, where the first concern is, they need to shed pounds.
Well, yeah. Do you know what they do? They put them on a high protein diet.
That'll do it, huh?
Yeah, and then they're probably consuming like maybe like 6,000-7,000 calories and not moving. Does that right?
Yeah.
To get that way, that's what you have to do
to maintain it. Like
that's a lot.
It's a full-time job.
That's a lot.
You're
eating all day long. I can't even imagine.
I peeked in on a couple of those shows on television. My 600-pound life and all that stuff. I mean, it's just holy shit.
But there's other issues there.
Oh, there's no question.
There's other issues there. That's why I say, like,
there's absolutely no question about it.
You gotta get your mind right in order for anything to follow you. If you cannot get this right, nothing else is gonna move with you. It's just not. Get your mind right and your body will follow you. It's resilient. It's just our mind messes with us because we're programmed and people come at us some kind of way, make us feel bad, right? This is what life is.
And you can see almost in every circumstance on those shows that they're all dealing with some kind of mental duress.
Yeah. This is reality. Like, do you think that we have like a good system in place for us to get like help? For these disorders or whatever we're going through.
Right.
We really don't. Like, to talk to maybe like a psychotherapist, you're probably spending quite a lot of money. It's not cheap. Even if you have insurance, sometimes you have to pay out of pocket just to talk to a psychotherapist.
What has happened to us that we have been, and male and female, what has happened where we have like been willing to toss out our feeling of health, of pride? I mean, like, just like, I don't understand why so much of the population is okay with being overweight. And I mean really overweight. Like, why? How did we actually become okay with it? Not the visual part of like seeing other people that way, but like, it's such an uncomfortable way to live. But we've somehow become comfortable with it. Yeah,
that's the problem, is people don't like to be uncomfortable. Like, I actually chase the feeling of...
But isn't that uncomfortable?
It's not for them. How
did we get there?
Well, you just fall into it, I think. You just
sedentary lifestyle?
Yeah, and then you have people around you that enable this behavior.
And probably end up looking like you because they're doing...
Sometimes.
The same.
Yeah.
Like I guess.
If you look at families, they all kind of look the same. You know?
The activities are the same. Maybe.
The food's the same. You know, the environment's the same. I'm telling you, like, the pillars of wellness are just not present.
That's pretty powerful. That's a powerful statement. Yeah. It's like we've fallen so far in our acceptance of shit. I hate to say it that way. It just seems like we've just...
And we tell ourselves we can't all the time. Like, I can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that?
I believe you. I've heard so many people tell me the exact same thing, but I've never lived that way. I would actually shame myself. I know I could be better than that, but I'm just choosing not to right now. But then I'll eventually fix myself. But I don't know that life.
Well, some people don't understand what rock bottom is and how to pick themselves up. And again, it's about picking yourself up. No one's waiting to save you. No one's waiting.
Meme going around Instagram. You seen that one?
I don't think.
No one's coming. Like you hear the female voice, and you'll see a motivational clip, and you hear a female voice go, "No one's coming.
It's the truth.
No one's coming tomorrow. No one's coming to motivate you.
No.
I mean, it's so true, though.
It's true. No one else's responsibility. It's your own. So again, if you set yourself up with core values, and that's all I did. So like, I'll give you a couple of them. Integrity is one, right? I do what I say I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
And if I can't,
not a hard concept,
right? And if I can't, I try to like make right by it. Accepting personal responsibility, because all I can control is myself.
Yep.
I can't control anything else, just me.
Yep.
Humility.
Yep. As we got right there on our sign, see, bring humility.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that.
Bring humility. We actively listen, seek to understand, and find common ground.
I love
That's how we kind of run this show.
I love that.
You know,
fantastic. So yeah, like okay, so these are your core values, right?
For the show.
For the show.
I have my own personal philosophy, which is very similar to that.
Right,
but for the show, it's how we kind of we all kind of coexist here.
Right.
We respect everybody's
But
views.
this drives you.
100%.
And if it doesn't align with those things,
100%.
you don't touch it, do you?
Exactly. Nope.
Yeah, but people don't have this set in place. They just
know.
want things to happen out of thin air.
And again, that's where when you mentioned earlier, you having conversations throughout your journey of life at a young age about something not serving you well, something that's putting you in the direction you want to be, or even bringing you joy, and then you're able to make a conscious decision to change. And what I'm saying is, I get it because I've lived that way too, but I think a lot of people, are choosing not to live that way.
I would agree with you.
Which is sad.
It's programming, though. They're feeding off of the programming, and that's it. They got to get out of their own way and get away from the programming that says that they can't, or anything, right?
Mm-hmm. Maybe, like you said, they have not hit rock bottom yet. Like Jim Rohn is a big business philosopher. I really made a huge impact on my life. He used to have a lot of great sayings. One of them was that there's going to be that one day where you just don't know how powerful something is going to happen. It's going to be your change. He didn't say rock bottom, but he said that, but it could be something. And he would always talk about a very successful CEO, and she had an abusive husband and a newborn child, and the abuse couldn't take it anymore. And one day she didn't flip out. She just hit a switch, and that was her motivation. That no one was ever going to treat me like that, tell me what to spend, what not to spend, rule me around anymore.
But Eric,
that was the motivation,
right? But if she didn't have that experience, do you think she would be where she was at?
Not at all.
That's what I'm talking about. This is why you must have the good and the bad.
100%.
We place value on this is good or this is bad, right? Straight away, because we have to define it.
Yeah.
But if we look at it and take a step back, the bad is not necessarily bad. You may look at it and be like, damn, like I didn't get that, or whatever happened to you, right? But it's sometimes things are not meant for you. Sometimes they're much bigger and you sell yourself short, right?
And life should teach you that if you pay attention.
If you pay attention, but some people are not awake to themselves and they don't even understand what's happening around them, right? It's like ignorance a little bit, and comfort in
out of comfort.
Yeah, nobody wants to be uncomfortable. Well,
okay.
There are people that do. I love being uncomfortable.
David Goggins likes to be uncomfortable.
Whoa, David Goggins.
Yeah,
he's
Goggins.
very extreme.
Yeah, he's a bit much. I love David, but
again, it took him, being, and I'll use his words, a piece of shit, to wake himself up, to make the choice,
no question,
and to change his trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
It's no one else's responsibility to do this. It is your own. This is what life is.
Yes. And how do we help others who come to us? Because we would not interfere with their life, but those who come and they want, and I struggle because I say, look, I have made so many mistakes. I don't know if I'm qualified to give you advice. I can only tell you what has worked for me and some of the tricks that I started in the beginning to help, convince myself to, when I don't want to go out there and do a certain thing, to do it. But outside of that, like diet, like someone would ask me, well, what do you eat? What's your eating plan? And I said, I don't have a diet, I have an eating plan. And then it became my lifestyle, and now I don't think about it. But I didn't want to share anymore because after a while, all I ended up getting was vitriol. And I said, look, I'm not saying what I do is good for you or the right thing for you. I'm just sharing because you asked me. Don't push it back on me like I'm, like I'm somehow criticizing you because I'm not. You asked.
Exactly. But people don't even think about that in their line of questioning towards you.
Exactly.
They don't even think about that. They're just like, bleh.
That's a human phenomenon that goes on.
Yeah.
So do you really want the advice or don't you want the advice?
I get that all the time. Constantly. Constant. And it's mostly men come to me.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And it's only because, like, I guess I look some kind of way. I don't really care. I don't look at myself any kind of way. Again, humility, whatever. I don't think that
so men are coming to you from a sexual standpoint, or coming generally for advice on training. What do you mean exactly?
I'm going to say yes to both.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes to both.
Okay.
because they're looking at something, and men are very visual. That's just how you are. And when you like what you see, right, you're going to go after the thing. That's just like a primal response, right? But I'm not doing the job that I do to be seen.
Right.
I wear a hat for a reason all the time. I kind of just want to, like, I don't know, be on the field with those boys.
I get it.
Just blend in with the boys.
I get it.
Because, like, that's just what I would rather do. You know, I don't want to be separated from the boys club.
Got it.
I just want.
I understand what you're saying.
I just want to be in there.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It is fascinating to me.
But because I'm in that world, right? I feel personal responsibility. I feel I have to look some kind of way.
Ah, okay.
Because the fitness industry is quite shallow, right? I want abs. It's all about the physical appearance, right?
Aesthetics of it.
That's all it is. It's been like that for a really long time. You know, but again, there's like this shift where it's like, I just want to feel better. And there are those people that are like, I just want to feel better.
Certainly.
I'm all for those people. I will help those people every single day. But when you come at me and you say, first of all, they look at a picture. It's a professional picture. It's a wonderful, the photographer.
You're cut in that photograph.
Right. But guess what? That's just a byproduct.
Well, sure.
Right. And like, that's just how I am. So I hide most of the time.
Right.
But like, this is it. Like, this is real life. Now, again, it's a professional photo, so it looks, you know, it's edited and stuff like that. I'm not saying they drew like, you know, lines on me. They drew a six-pack. Yeah, it's not real. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, like, you know, underneath the right lighting, things present themselves.
Right. We all know that. Right. You know, even those that aren't photographers know that's the deal.
Right. So it's just like, get over it, right? I am so much more than this picture, but you tend to float towards this picture, right? So I use it.
Certainly.
I use it because I can.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm not looking for attention because of it. When you look at like my profile picture that I have up now, if you look at it, I think what you're drawn to, besides like the stomach, is you're drawn to my face. And I gotta tell you, it's pretty it's a powerful picture, and that photographer captured that within me because I was just standing there.
Right on. That's what they should do. The good ones can do it.
Right. So I was just being.
The good ones can do it.
Right. I was just simply being.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
So he captured that, doctored it up, gave it to me, and I'm showing you.
As you should.
Should I? I don't know. It's my choice.
As you should.
It's just my choice. So whatever.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that. So, you know, that's the one thing that people might not understand, but, you know, like when I got in better shape, the weight was part of it, you know, and you know, and losing waist sizes and all that stuff. But that wasn't the initial goal. I wanted to make sure I didn't go pre-diabetic or have any blood pressure issues, get all that taken care of.
Right.
But once I got to a certain point, I'm like, wow, I'm wearing size of clothes I haven't worn since high school.
It's the byproduct.
The aesthetic, yes. And there's nothing wrong with being happy about that because it's a good state of being. I felt great about things.
Right, but it doesn't fuel my ego to look this way.
No, but I will tell you that if you ask the average person on the street and you lay out that scenario, who wouldn't want that doesn't have it now?
Yeah.
Every human would want that.
Yeah,
that's humanity.
A lot of men want what I physically have.
Right.
And females do, but they will not say it.
Of course not.
They just talk about it.
Right. No, I understand. I totally get it. But like you just said, I don't think there's anything wrong with enjoying the byproduct of the hard work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like anything else. You work hard at your job and you get promotion. You're enjoying the byproduct of your hard work. You're working on yourself and whether it's your physical anatomy, your insides, you know, your endurance, and as being in mid 50s, it's like I know I feel at 56, 1,000 times better than I felt at 54.
It's never too late.
1,000 times better.
It's never too late.
Different person.
It's never too late.
You know, I tell people that and go, oh, that can't be true. I'm like, listen, I'm telling you now.
And you become like addicted to it is what it is.
Oh, there's no
in a way.
question.
And there's like healthy addictions in a way. But there's super unhealthy. So again, when we were talking about that, like, you know, body positivity.
Yes.
There's the opposite end of the spectrum where you have people that binge purge, things like that. But there's a dysmorphic disorder
Like, what do you
behind
mean?
it. So like some people that binge and purge,
Oh, I mean,
anorexic,
yeah.
bulimia, stuff
Okay.
like that.
Well, I get accused.
Well,
People said it to me.
Right. I'm sure they
I'm
did.
like, come on, are you serious?
Right. Yeah. It's an excuse.
I eat almost 2,500 calories to 3,000 calories a day.
It's an excuse, right?
Yeah.
It's a
I guess.
projection. It's an excuse. But again, you have the opposite end of the spectrum. I don't think we should glorify these people, but we should get them help that they need.
Yeah.
Because they're worthy of living, just like this
course.
person on the opposite spectrum
Of
that
course.
is glorifying like themselves for being, you know, a 24 plus size.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I think it is so dangerous what we're going through right now, where we're elevating feelings above health, and it's a tough thing to talk about because as soon as you start talking about it, you're a no good son of a bitch.
Right. Well, it's this like way to control the emotion, right? You have to understand yourself and what you feel. They are your own feelings. They're nobody else's.
Right on.
You know, but we tend to, I'm not saying this everybody does this, but we tend to say, take the person that's closest to us, our partner or whoever, our kid, whatever, and we
Right.
dump that on other people. That's not healthy.
No, it can't be.
Like, and again, here's a pillar of wellness. There's an emotional aspect to
Oh,
it.
certainly.
So if we can't control that emotion, yeah, we're like doomed because we have to roll with all of it, the good and the bad.
No question.
You know, I've had really great days and I've had terrible days,
Right.
but it didn't deter me from the path. But that, again, that's just my emotional intelligence.
Good book, by the way.
Yeah, right?
Good book.
Yeah.
It's a life-changing book.
That's what I'm talking about.
People, but that's another, reading is another example of, you know, you can show people, you can tell people, you can recommend people, you can share good books with people, but if they don't pick up the book, the book that you don't read won't help you.
Right. Or listen. Look,
It's just-
people don't know what they don't know.
Right.
I'll say it again.
That's a great phrase.
Right. People don't know what they don't know.
It's a great phrase and very accurate. Did you have a good time?
So fun.
I know.
Did I answer all the questions?
You did. You get an A+
I know.
for
Whoop,
sure.
whoop. High honor roll.
And I'd love to have you back.
I would love to come back.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, for sure.
you-
Because we
you're natural
only
to
we
scratch
only
the surface.
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it
I didn't
takes-
even talk about Rob Rossi.
It takes. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Rob. Don't worry.
Rob, you're the best. He's the best. He really. I have so much fun. Like we have so much fun, and I'm like, Rob, I remember the first day he came back, I was like, I missed you so much.
Right
and we
on.
were like hugging
Right on.
in the parking lot.
Yeah, right on. Right on. And he's back now. He's back doing his thing.
Yeah, like slowly,
Slowly.
right?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, but he
all right.
is getting there, and he has so much support,
Yes, he
and
does.
he's just like I never even thought.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So-
He's Rob's a character, there's no doubt.
He's the best.
All right,
He's
my
the
friend.
best. Thank you so
I
much.
had a blast. We're gonna do this
Yeah.
again, right?
Super fun.
Oh, you're
Yes,
on
please.
tape saying you're gonna do it again.
Yes, as witness.
Okay, we do a thing called the Four Friends series on here too. I don't know if you've seen that in our prior shows. We get eclectic people from different backgrounds to come in and just cut it up and have some fun.
Cool. Yeah.
So you're in for that too.
I could be on that panel, I think.
I have no doubt about
yeah.
that.
Super fun. I would love to.
All right, we're
yeah,
gonna do it
thank
again.
you, sir.
All
Yeah,
right,
thank you so much.
sir.
It's out of respect. That's how I was
okay.
raised. Thank you, Gene and Jack, for raising me properly. Shout out to Gene and
That's
Jack.
the best answer yet someone's ever said. That said, "Sir," that is how they were raised.
It is. I'm serious. It's
Fantastic.
purely out of
I
respect.
love that.
Ma'am, sir, all that stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah. Of
All
course.
right, friends, we're out.
Boom.
Boom.